Oh, wait, hold on.
Hello.
Hey, we're back.
Hello, everyone. Dr. Ben here.
And Snugsy.
And we are here to talk about Ricklantis.
Return of Ricklantis? The Ricklantis Mixup.
Right? Ricklantis Mixup.
Yeah, sure was.
Alright, so...
Heading right in.
I really liked how we got to see their interpretation of Atlantis in this episode. And, we got to see Poseidon. We got to see
all the underwater.
Trident.
Just like all the different underwater creatures they created for this episode.
We got to see all those mermaids.
That mermaid puss.
Mermaid puss. I didn't want to say it.
It's okay. We've said worse things on here.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, so that was
mermaids
the whole episode.
Mermaids can have cats too, dude. They have pets.
That was the whole episode.
Yeah. But the side episode, Tales from the Citadel. This was a classic, like, just bucket of ideas episode where,
which means it wasn't classic at all.
Where they take like, like, hey, here's the 500 different kinds of Ricks and Mortys we could make, and they throw them in. And I was wondering as I was watching this episode, you know how they came out with that Pokemon game that's like Pocket Mortys or whatever? Mortys. I was wondering if some of those Mortys were around, or
I think there
might have been elaborations on some of those Mortys, which is kind of cool to see that tie-in and everything. But yeah, this was an episode where the only characters in the entire episode were Ricks and Mortys.
Yep, Justin Roiland was really alone in that recording booth.
Yeah, really just kind of going for it.
I mean, when you really think about it, the funniest thing will be seeing, like, the behind the scenes of this episode.
It really
because it's just a dude just
going off, having conversations
yelling
with
himself in a recording booth.
But it was really funny. We get to see, like, the hierarchy and, like, how a world of all Ricks and Mortys works, and there's, like, blatant racism tones and, like, and all of these things about the Ricks and the Mortys.
We see what they consume in terms of wafers.
Oh my goodness, the Willy Wonka Rick is so funny. They create, like, these really authentic experiences for the Ricks, and then they trap them in that experience over and over, and then milk the juice that their brain creates.
I
like how they let the one guy, like, go in the hostage situation just so that they can tap him at the height of his, like, euphoria. And then put it on wafers, and they said the one guy's like, sorry, there was a hang-up at the factory, and the other guy's eating a box of the new wafers, and he yells, worth it. What does it say? Come home to the unique flavor of breaking out of the system or something like that.
So there were like 4 plots within this whole Citadel thing, I think.
Oh,
right?
yeah. There were a couple layers.
There was the corporation one, which was the whole wafer stuff and all that sort of
the Rick and Morty cop story.
The cop story. The ones with the 4 Mortys.
Yeah, the Stand By Me reference.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there was another one.
The one with
the politician.
the detective and the politician Morty. Yeah.
So, which was your favorite?
So the funniest stuff for me, honestly, was all the little in-betweens. It was one of the ones where, until the end of the episode, the impact of the stories... There was the one story with the political Morty, obviously. I know this whole thing's a spoiler alert, but spoiler alert. It's the Morty who we see in the other episodes, the Eye Patch Morty.
Way back from season 1.
The Eye Patch Morty, who seems to have, like, a nefarious plan for the Citadel at the end of that first Citadel episode. He is shown as, like, oh, okay, only this one guy has the information. Or that Rick got the information somehow and passed it to this Morty. and he sees all the pictures of him with the eye patch and stuff. Now that story, on my second watch of the episode, we always watch it twice before we do this.
Yeah.
On my second watch of the episode, I was like, oh, this story is way cooler now. And now that I understand that the Rick got the information from somebody and he passes it to the Morty, because before that, it just seems like, oh, it's another detective reference.
Yeah,
it's just a detective gimmick very, like, where they always do that, like, past the thing. Here's
what I like. I like how Rick and Morty handles continuity, because there's sort of like continuity light.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the episode of the first interdimensional cable episode.
So good.
When, like, mid towards the end, we see that Morty directly references that he's not the Morty of that universe.
Yeah,
and that, because originally, like, all, like, 5 or 6 episodes that came before that were all just sort of meant to believe that there are no repercussions, that all these are standalone, that there's not really continuity. No, but if you do it just like a little bit here and there, less is more. Exactly. I feel like in Rick and Morty with continuity, less is definitely more. That's what I was
saying to you before, is nowadays it's so easy for us to look at the overarching story of all of Rick and Morty, and it's like, but we didn't have the perspective we have now back in, like, season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So it was like, nowadays we kind of expect more of that and get a little more upset when we don't get things that move the overarching plot forward.
Yeah.
So, like, at first watching this episode, I was just like, oh, it's just like a fun, everything's fun, whatever episode.
We should point out that we
just watched BoJack Horseman.
The new season of BoJack Horseman.
Nothing but substance, like just substance.
Yeah.
For an animated show.
Yeah.
Nothing but.
So coming off of that and then jumping into this, which is just like,
you're wondering, like, oh, where
for the most part
is
silliness. Yeah.
Where is, like, the depth to this? And like, but really though, we have to forgive it, because there was some. It was layered really well. It was, like we said, the less is more, and it was upon finishing the episode where they, like, kind of reveal that too. But like we were saying, my favorite parts were honestly all the little things, like the simple Rick. Where he's like, he works more with wood. He works more with wood than with whatever science. And like all of those were so funny. The commercials were so funny. The different Ricks, the tall Morty, the simple Rick or stupid Rick or whatever he is.
Stupid Rick or tall Rick. Morty. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so funny. Did I like that. Graduate? Anything's possible, tall Morty.
It's always nice to see
those little things
when they're able to do all these different variations.
Those things make me laugh so hard. Yeah. So I mean, you could see that this is literally an episode where how many TV shows could get away with, like, oh, just 2 characters this whole episode? I mean, like, 1 VA.
I mean, any TV show could do it if
I said get away with, not do it.
So
like, there's a big difference there. Like I didn't think. Except to think, like, wow, this is a lot of work for the guy making it. I didn't think, like, oh, this is annoying, it's just these guys.
Yeah.
Right? Ever. It was, they really did a good job with just themes and ideas and, like, all the different Ricks and Mortys. And an episode like this, I just think, has to be so fun to write and, like, plan for in the writing room. They probably just have a huge whiteboard with different types of Mortys written on it.
I have pictures of their whiteboards.
Oh, well, there you go.
There's just a lot of dicks on them.
A lot of dicks. But yeah, it was just I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So
I really enjoyed this episode.
So where would you stack it against the rest of the season so far?
Oh my god, this is one of my favorite episodes of the season, just because I laughed so hard, all the little in-betweeners. Yeah. Like, just the little improv bits.
Well, you and I had a completely different opinion at the beginning when we were first talking about it.
About this?
Yeah.
No, I think you just didn't like it as much, and then I immediately said, like, hey, we just watched BoJack, although you did offer that up on your first thing. Yeah. But then you kept going on and on about how, like, like, the senseless murder just isn't, and I so didn't agree with anything that I just didn't reply.
Well, that's like one thing that sort of gets me. Like, I don't like the too much gratuitous murder.
Oh no, go for it. Fucking, that's the whole blood everywhere, blood and guts. Sign me up. I'm on Adult Swim. I'm watching Adult Swim. I don't want him to play with it. I want it to just be everywhere.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, keep some of these characters alive.
That's
what I'm trying to say.
Well,
like,
I mean, I think it's just like a one and done.
Oh yeah, no. Like, the methods of how they kill them, great.
I just mean, I think it's a one and done. Like we they have carte blanche to just like murder everybody in like episodes of like places they're just not going back to.
But like but what bothers me is every single time that there's a new character introduced, I'm just like, okay, great, I love getting to know this character, but I know that the second that they walk on screen, I will never see them again.
Oh, and they just die.
Yeah,
there aren't a lot of recurring characters that are coming back or that are being created this season. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and that I think like really
there could
sucks.
be more callbacks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want the show to stumble into the, hey, we've been on the air so long that now we owe people, like, the overarching plot part of the episode, and the Jerry part of the episode, and the Beth part of the episode, and then this part of the episode.
But there's ways to take, like, the best of it and be able to hold on to that and then, like, do more with it later.
Sure, but, like how high is the bar that we're setting for,
Alan Rails! Alan Rails should have stayed alive!
For, like, every new episode, like, at some point we didn't come up with an idea for one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. We have to let these guys just kind of do their thing.
Would you have liked if Willy Wonka Rick to stay alive, or do you think he outlived his purpose?
So like he gets killed in the scene where like they take a little off the top and it's like all the leadership people, but like they could all have died because you're never going to see any of them again anyway.
Yeah.
And like if the Willy Wonka Rick had lived, would there have maybe been one more of those commercials as a tag at the end of another episode sometime in the future? Like maybe, but like I'm okay. Like I ask myself the other half of that question where it's like, would I really want him to keep coming back? It's like maybe he's not as funny if it keeps happening.
It's a good point.
Right? Like,
it's a good point.
Like, oh, do I want every character? Like, there has to be the balance also between I want them to create a million funny new characters, and I don't necessarily need them all to like have a story of where they are in the world right now. Oh my goodness, my shirt is ripped.
It was ripped the whole time.
Why didn't you say something to me?
I didn't want to.
I could have changed my shirt.
I didn't want to interrupt the show, which is what you are doing now. It's great.
This is actually really depressing. I love this shirt. Oh no, that must have been from the wash.
Sure, not the garbage. Anyway,
I pulled this shirt right out of the trash.
What would you?
Right out of the garbage, my Blizzard shirt.
What would you rate this? What would you?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Yeah, me too.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I can't give anything that doesn't have my homies a 9 or a 10, pretty much, which is like the other characters.
Yeah.
Like I just need
Jerry.
I need some Jerry. I need some
Jerry.
Beth Summer, but mostly Jerry.
We're almost at the end of the season, and we really haven't had that much Jerry.
Which is what I said I was worried about.
That's a bummer.
I said it in our first review.
Yeah.
That I was worried that this season he would really get sidelined because of the divorce, and that I thought that while the divorce was like an important and a strong storyline, that it would have those consequences for some of the other characters.
Yeah.
And I totally understand, and they're well written, and they make sense. Consequences. It's just like,
small. It's a heavy price to pay.
There are certain topics that are like really heavy, and like I guess if you do them right, they're okay. But they're just so uncomfortable all the time that I just don't want to deal with them. And those things are divorce.
Yeah.
Like miscarriages, like anything like that. There's a famous online comic called Control Delete that was like really, really popular, and it was really, really funny all the time. And then all of a sudden it got like weirdly serious for a little bit because two characters were falling in love and having a baby, but it's okay because it was still funny most of the time. And then the dude who wrote the comic just decided that one of the main comic characters was going to just have a miscarriage, and like wrote like 1 week's funny internet comic was like, this person has a miscarriage and everything is really dark, and everybody's like, why the fuck would you do this? I read this for fun, and this is a funny comic. You can't just do things like this in this comic. It's really jarring. It's not what I was here for. And he's like, well, these are my characters, and this is my story, and I wanted to do this, and it's not always about the funny. And people are like, no, I get that, like, when your story got more popular, the characters start to matter more. But, like, the whole reason this is a thing is because it was a funny internet comic.
So I haven't seen this, so I don't know the full execution. However, I do think it's important in order for characters to develop, you gotta veer.
Well, so the thing is, like, characters had started developing because it had gotten popular, right? And, like, so before it was, like, there was almost no character development. People just joke. Yeah. Like, 4 panels of joke, 4 panel joke, 4 panel joke. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it's, like, 3 panel joke, 1 panel of, like, they're falling in love. And then you, like, slowly migrate to, like, 4 panel, super depressing, like, where's my joke?
Maybe he didn't want to write a kid.
Right, but it's, like, then why get her like pregnant and do all this stuff
to put the characters
no
through hell.
it was because like he started his comic became more serious and he wanted to create like depth for these people.
Yeah.
But like I'll go on XKCD, I'm not looking for depth, I'm looking for a quick witty like math or science joke in a couple panels. So it was like I'm not to we're really off the rails already. I'm just saying that there's certain topics like everybody kind of agreed and there was a huge backlash against him because everybody was like, this is uncomfortable. I didn't come here for this. I don't want the uncomfortable thing. So it's like when divorce was a theme for the beginning of this episode or this season, I was uncomfortable from the beginning and I was like, I get it, but I really don't want to deal with it. And it's like, here I am still dealing with it. So it's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite season.
It's strong. It's strong. It's a strong storyline. But I'm watching this other show that's supposed to depress me, and is doing a really good job. And when I watch Rick and Morty, I'm just here for like the laughs and like some of the deep universe stuff. But usually, I'm not here to get sad.
I don't think anything should just be all of one thing.
Yeah.
Like that. I think makes the show fall into in a terrible trap.
Yeah.
And I think Rick and Morty is a strong show because it deals with some of those things. However,
I'm not saying never do that. Hey, BoJack is a great show.
I don't think that Dan Harmon is channeling his divorce correctly. All right. If I was a therapist and if a patient saw me and said, this is how I'm handling things. I'm putting this whole divorce thing in a cartoon for millions of people to watch around the world. If I was a therapist, I would say, no. You're paying me $250 an hour. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, like, hey.
You don't have to put it in this thing.
And that's the thing, it kind of obviously bleeds through.
Yeah. I think it's life imitates art and all that sort of bullshit, whatever. It's all bullshit.
Hey, life imitates art and whatever the fuck else they say.
But do it where it doesn't completely decapitate your characters.
I called it on the first review. I was like, Jerry's gone for the season. And you're like, he's going to come back in a really big way. And
he did.
He did. Full episode. He had a Jerry episode, but then it was like the perfect. We did it. And then he's gone.
I mean, we still got 3 more episodes.
Yeah. And you know there's a token everybody gets back together.
And you know what?
Episode.
You know what? We really haven't had that much more Beth and Summer anymore.
Yeah, I mean...
we had their B-plot in the previous episode.
I feel like their B-plots in Season 2 are getting really strong, which is why it sucks that they're... Not that they're not strong. Every time they happen, there's just less of them.
Yeah.
But anyway... 8 out of 10 for me on this episode. Still, we have to put the complaints in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
We can't just sit here and plug, but really go watch Rick and Morty. It's great. It's amazing.
It's not the perfect episode, but there are some really good things about it.
Yeah. And it's our job to review the episode and to pick at it.
Yeah. If
I wasn't sitting here nitpicking at this episode, I just enjoyed it. It was good. It was a really good episode, and they need to keep that up. So... I will, not like I wasn't going to be tuning in next week, but I'm excited to kind of see if they touch at all on the evil Morty, or if they leave it for the future.
I don't know. I feel like that whole plot...
I'm kind of hoping they don't touch on evil Morty, why I'm saying it.
I feel like that whole thing is going to be the long game, and I'm
totally fine with that. I want it to be the long
game.
game.
I do too. I want it to be the long game as well. Mm-hmm. When at conventions, people kept on asking what's going to happen with Evil Morty, and this was in between and right after season 2 aired, and Dan Harmon was like, "Well, we're really not going to touch upon him on season 2, and it's just a thing. It's going to happen eventually." So I don't know. He's a very honest person, so I don't know if he was pressured into putting it into this or he actually found a good reason for it.
And that's always rough, right? Like I watched a making of the episode thing in Game of Thrones where they were like, yeah, we've been really trying to put this in the show for 4 seasons, and there was finally a place that we could put it. And I'm like, oh, it sounds awful. like for 5 years we've been trying to shoehorn this thing that is not in the books into the show, and we finally found where we could do it.
If something fits,
and it's
something
like
fits.
It's like, yeah, but when you're trying to make something fit like for years and years and years, it can be it can feel forced.
I don't know. With the turnaround of how soon we get seasons, we'll see season 4
never
in like a year and a half, and then we'll see season 5 another year and a half.
I would expect maybe there to be a call, like a tag at the end of an episode or something in season 4 of the Citadel. I don't expect to skip a whole other season again.
I don't have any expectations.
I think it's a little on.
I have no expectations with Rick and Morty anymore.
That's true. Dangerous thing to have.
Yeah.
But really, that's it. I think the rest of the season is going to be wrapping it up in a nice little bow, because I don't think they want to start season 4 the way we started season 3.
Hell no.
So we'll see. I think there's going to be some token family time episodes, and nice. I wonder what we're going to end the season on, though, because it's been pretty dark notes the last 2.
You know, I might hold off until
after.
Yeah.
Well, then I will be acting like this episode. It'll just be me in here talking to myself. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out for you guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for checking out our review of the newest Rick and Morty episode, the fucking bait and switch Ricklantis episode.
Yep.
And at the end, I know that I was supposed to sit there feeling like I wish I just saw what those guys were doing the whole time.
I don't.
But I wish I saw what those guys were doing.
I mean, like, I kind of do.
I do.
But I mean, like, I don't know.
I hope it's not just a one-time thing.
Get it?
Because that's what he...
Yeah. Because, like, it's Atlantis. How much more creative can you get? What if some guy were to write a comic about Atlantis?
Oh, and that's where we're ending the show.
And that might be more.
No, you don't want somebody to steal. You don't want somebody to steal your idea. Coming up on Manlantis.
Eventually.
Atlantis.
Eventually.
But yeah, I think we're tapping out. I think we're good.
Yep.
I think we've said all there is to say about this episode.
Anyway, that's what we think. Let us know what you think.
Please do.
Comment below
or above, or anywhere you can fit a comment, really.
Yeah, and if you liked our video, be sure to like, subscribe, follow us, tweet us.
All that jazz.
I don't know social media. Just do it all.
Do it all. Start at the top and work your way down the list.
Hit the button.
Post the thing.
Yeah.
I think the Bitmoji it or whatever the kids do these days.
Sure.
All right.
Pogs.
Just throw some marbles around.
Yeah.
You know, kick it around, see what happens.
Great.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching.
That's all we got.
Take care.
Have a good night.
And fix your shirts.
Yes.